Good morning, everyone. I think we could go ahead and get started and let those who are dropping in come in to the room. But we can go ahead and I just want to thank you for being here. Welcome to New Mexico's Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce Business Echo Program. I'd like to start with a brief overview of the impact statements, our agenda, housekeeping, and the model itself. Of course, every session we like to highlight that by using this echo model, we're creating a space where IT business owners, professionals, and entrepreneurs can connect with experts and with each other to share strategies, tackle real challenges, and grow together. This isn't about one person teaching and everyone else listening. Again, this is a collaborative learning space. It's about all of us learning together because when one of us grows together or one business grows together, it strengthens the entire business ecosystem and the community that we have here. So thank you for being here today. A quick agenda overview. Of course, we begin with this welcome, and then our housekeeping. Our didactic presentation will follow this, along with a case presentation, and then we'll close the session with any closing remarks and a summary. For housekeeping, this session, again, keep in mind, is being recorded. Please be mindful of what you do choose to share, but again, this is a welcome space, and we are all here to learn together. Please mute your mic if you're not speaking to be courteous to others. And if you could, please keep your camera on. I think it does help us build the community and allows us to see all of your lovely faces. Please use the chat for any questions you may have, and then be kind and mindful of others. Lastly, we'd like to ask you to update your Zoom to show both your name, your first and last name, and then the agency that you are with. If you do not know how to do that, you will click your three dots on your photo, or right click on your picture, and there should be a rename option that'll allow you to do that there. Regarding the model, again, we today will have a didactic presentation by Mr. Corey Frazier, case discussion, and summary and wrap up of that. So I'll start with introducing our hub team here. If you all would like, please begin by introducing yourselves and placing your name in the chat along with your agency. But I'll start. Again, I'm Dominic Baca. I am a destination sales representative in our convention and tourism department here at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. I thank you all for being here. I'll pass it on to my colleague, Laura, who will introduce herself.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Chavez, and I'm a project manager here at the Hispano Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Laura. Corey?
Corey Frazier, President and CEO of Conifer Incorporated.
Thank you, Corey. Mark?
Thanks, Dominic. Mark Fidel with Fidel Consulting Group. My clients are technology firms. I'm also a subject matter expert for the Hispano Chamber's Project Hub.
Certainly, thank you.
Thank you.
Greg?
Hi, everyone. My name is Greg Mullen. I'm president here at ABQ IT and also a proud member of the Hub team.
Thank you, Greg. And Elliot?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elliot Parras. I'm a program specialist with Project Echo. Nice to see everybody here.
Thank you, Elliot. All right. Yes, again, please place your name and your agency in the chat. That allows us to see who you're with and the industry that you represent. Next, we'll move on to our didactic presentation. I'd like to introduce again Mr. Corey Frazier of Conifer Inc. Today's topic is going to be the self-driving business, automating your sales, finance and sanity. Finance and sanity. I apologize. And now I will pass it along to Mr. Corey to share his screen.
Okay. For those of you who love to keep your camera off, I love to call on people. So just be prepared for that. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the self-driving business. I am an AI consultant, and I've been doing technology since I was probably in elementary school. I have been a business coach and a sales coach and fractional executive for businesses over the last 6 years, and I have worked for large corporate businesses as well in the range of, in about the range of $500 million or so in annual revenue. So I bring all of that wonderful experience with me, and I want to help businesses get a leg up and understand how they too can operate and think that way, how you can be a business of one and look like a business of 100. So with that being said, we talk about how do we automate the things that we really should automate, but more importantly, why do we even do that? Let me put the chat over here so I can see that as well. Okay, so who is this for? Who are we talking about when we say that businesses need to automate? Well, it's anybody in any business, really. When you start thinking about the person, if you ever told yourself that I sit here and I wear too many hats, well, then this is for you. If you do wear too many hats, if you're the one in the business and you're the only one wearing hats, well, this is definitely for you. And I don't think I've met anybody who said, oh, no, I've got plenty of free time on my calendar and I'm just looking for stuff to do. Well, if that's you, then congratulations, because I haven't met you yet and I'd love to. So the reason that we're talking about this is everybody's wearing too many hats. We're trying to do too much with too little. We've got a bunch of tasks we have to do, no time to do them. We have to prioritize those things. And what ends up happening is the things that are also important get left behind. And so what does that day look like for you? What is that when you wake up, and then what time do you quit working when you go to bed? Everybody who knows me knows that there's no such thing as a day off, and there's no such thing as a work hour. I have been known to be working at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've been known to be working at 6 o'clock in the morning, and every hour in between. And so when you wear too many hats, you get up and you're constantly changing hats. You do one thing and you move on to the next, and then something else comes up and something else becomes a priority. And then, oh, my to-do list just keeps growing and getting longer and longer. So what is the real problem with all of that? Well, the real problem is, nobody likes to hear this word, you. You are the reason that is a problem. You are the bottleneck in things getting done. It's not necessarily that you're a bad person or a bad business owner or even a bad employee. The simple fact is there's so many things to do. You wear so many hats. The problem is you. You can't do them all. You only have so many hours in a day. Even if you work 14 hours a day, there's still 14 hours a day to try to get things done. And to try to compete with larger companies or more efficient companies, you have to find a way how to replicate yourself over and over and over again. And yet again, I have not found anybody who's really found a way to do that. So why is that important? Why is it important to realize that you are the problem? You are the bottleneck to getting more accomplished. Well, you run into these 4 things that end up coming up as being a problem. First one is being speed. The more things you have to do, the longer it takes you to switch from thing to thing, and the longer it takes for you to get geared up and get it done. And while you're doing that, you're losing valuable time working on something else. Accuracy. If you're working 14 hours a day, the chances are that you're going to be on the ball for all 14 hours a day is going to be slim to none. You're going to hurry, things are going to slip through the cracks. You're just going to be tired, and things are not going to be as accurate as you had hoped. And so if you decide that, well, what I want to do is I want to turn around and I want to double check all of my work. Okay. You've now just doubled the amount of time it takes for you to do everything because you're double checking your own work. Scale. Only so many hours in a day, only so much work you can do in time. If the workload increases, so does the demand on you, the bottleneck. And then burnout. I know for a fact that I personally, every little while, I'll have to stop and just take a day or two off and just turn everything off and disconnect. Because when you go and you don't stop and you wear all the hats, eventually it just gets to be too much. So how do we handle all of that? Well, this wonderful thing was introduced to the world and everybody's heard all the buzz about it, and everybody is now talking about, well, how do I use ChatGPT to make me more efficient? Well, how many people are using ChatGPT in an effort to try to be more efficient? I'm going to call on somebody with their camera off. All right. Oh, Daryl, you unmuted.
I did it on accident to try to hide myself, but yeah, I have used a little bit of GPT to try to create some efficiency with different things, mostly in research and sort of setting things up, but then I proofread and go through it.
Nice. A lot of people do. And it helps a little. But we still end up running into the problem of, well, we're still the bottleneck. We're still the interface triggering everything, and we're still the one who has to talk to ChatGPT. And as you just proved, I still have to go back and reread what it creates. Well, how efficient really is that, right? We'll use it to write emails. Well, now we have to reread the email. We have to tell it how we want to write the email. By the time we prompt it to write the email, we probably could have written the email ourselves. So even sometimes it becomes even longer for us to turn around and use something like that, just because of the fact that we have to tell it what to do, then we have to wait for it, and then we have to reread and proofread what it has given us. So that becomes a false sense of security, that nice warm blanket that really has lots of holes in it. So then we're like, okay, well, now what do I do? Well, now I need to find some sort of app that solves this one problem that I've got. Oh, there's lots of those out there. How many people use a CRM and then a different tool for tracking their finances, and then a different tool for sending and receiving emails, and then a different tool for doing follow-ups, and a different a different tool for tracking jobs that are being done. And what we end up doing is we end up becoming almost landlords of apps. We've got all these tools that we've got that in each one does only one thing, and that's what we use it for. And now we're in a subscription nightmare where we've got all these subscriptions we're paying for every month, and now we have to spend more time balancing all the time in between all of the apps. So they, again, also become a bigger problem than they do a solution. So with all of these problems, how can we possibly ever get out of this trap? How can we get out of this nightmare of, I've got all these tools, I don't have all this, I don't have time to use the tools. I'm trying to be efficient, leveraging AI in order to do some of this, and I just doesn't seem like I'm getting ahead. Well, you're not alone. The fact is you're probably not getting ahead, but there's something that you can do about that. And you can actually put an orchestrator, is what I'll call it for now, put an orchestrator in the middle that manages all of that for you. You can put something in the middle that talks to AI to get the answers you want, also talks to your apps to figure out what's going on in your apps, keeps track of things, tells you when things are going on, tells you when there's something that you need to focus on and pay attention to, and or even focus on it for you. So we take two different tools and we combine them into one. And that tool is called N8N. N8N is an automation orchestrator. That's its sole job, is it takes a workflow and automates it. If you can draw a workflow on a napkin, it can probably turn that into an automated process where you can just let it go. I'm a sales guy by nature. I've done lots of deals on napkins. I love napkin solutions. And so if you can draw your problem and the way you do something from beginning to end on a napkin, on a sheet of paper, on a notebook, you can turn it into a process that you can automate and free up some of your time. And it may not even be something you realize that you're spending a lot of time doing. I've got a couple of examples that we'll be talking about as we move forward that are things that most people are like, oh, I don't even do that now. And that's a core business function that I really should be doing. So remember all those things that we have to do and we have to prioritize? Well, you can't make business decisions if you can't see all of the information in front of you. And sometimes we forget that that even exists. So how do most businesses use AI today? Well, we've already talked about using ChatGPT to go and, craft up an email after I prompted what I needed to say. Or we'll send it off to go generate some sort of research on something for us. Or we'll have it generate some social media captions, but we still have to copy and paste and schedule and do everything else. Or we have to upload some document or some contract that we received and we want to know, is this a good fit for us as a business? So we upload the document in, hey, summarize this, and, oh, hey, this is what my business is, and can you tell me if it looks like I'm a good fit for this business or for this contract or not? And just kind of have it sit there and wait for us to be the bottleneck. But instead, we can actually have AI do the things for us. We can have AI read emails as they come in. We can have AI go out, research leads, and actually try to do the conversion for us. We can have it generate our financial dashboards for us. And here's the really neat thing about them. They don't need to sleep like we do. So that 14-hour time window that you're working in, they'll work 24/7. They can be researching, creating content, and scheduling everything for you while you're doing something that you should be doing. So when we talk about workflows and when we talk about automating workflows, a workflow has three main parts. It has a trigger, it has the work, and it has how we want it to think about the things that it's going to do. And on any process that your business has, these are going to be the same thing. When my phone rings, I answer the phone and see what they need and then figure out what I need to do based on what they need.
Hey, Corey, is this similar to if then else in Excel, but on steroids?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Absolutely. And even more once we start throwing AI into it and AI starts making decisions for us, which I have an example at the end that will show how that kind of works.
Thank you.
So if we go back to our napkin, right? When my phone rings, the next thing I do is I answer it. And then after I answer it, I have a conversation to determine if I can help this person or not. If I can help this person, then I put them on my schedule for me or somebody else to go visit them or to present a solution or to present a quote. And then I go do the work. That is your business process or a workflow in the simplest of terms. And you can automate that. And N8N does that all for you. N8N manages the triggers, the work, the data, the actions, the storing, everything that you would be doing yourself. You store everything in Google Sheets, it'll do that for you. Store everything in OneDrive, it'll do that for you. Want to send an automated email whenever somebody sends something with a subject line that says, "Can you help?" It'll do that for you. It will automate your existing processes. Here's the one thing that I will tell everybody. If you don't have a process, don't try to automate something first. Define what your process is before you try to automate it. Otherwise, you're just going to drive yourself nuts. So, what are the rules of automation? Start with the trigger. What's the thing that happens that I need to work on the rest of the workflow? Keep a human in the loop. I will show some examples at the end, especially if we have time, of how I use AI to generate an entire week's worth of social media content, and then it schedules it, but it never posts it until I approve it. And then automate the boring. If it's boring and repetitive, that is the perfect thing to automate. I don't know if you can see the little video that's playing at the bottom. That is an example of an automated workflow. In fact, I think that is a blog writer that writes a blog once a week. It schedules it, it researches it, it writes it, it generates an image for the blog, and then it schedules it, and I have to go and approve it. Who can automate parts of their business? Anybody. I can't think of a business that can't automate some aspect of what they do. Now, here's the silent thing that is very valuable that normally gets overlooked. As business owners, thinking those 14 hours that we work a day and those tasks that we have to constantly switch from, the hats we have to constantly take off and take back on, it takes time for us to switch contexts between tasks. On average, the time is 23 minutes from the time you go from one concentrated topic to another. It doesn't take very many switches in a single day for most of your day to be lost to just trying to get back on track of being important. That time alone could be saved by automating something. Computers and AI don't need 23 minutes to switch context. They can switch context faster than I can say the word context. So they can go back and forth nonstop. All right. So the first example, the first case study that I came up with, talking with other people, is how do I know the health of my business? How do I know my financial health? How do I know my customer growth when it's across multiple systems? And it takes me looking at multiple systems to go and figure out what that looks like. How many new clients have I got this week? How many new leads have I got this week? How much revenue have I got this week? How many quotes have I sent out this week? How many of this have I done? And am I tracking the things that are important to my business? Being across all of those platforms is a lot of that manual work that we have to do to go back and forth and figure out, okay, go look at my QuickBooks. What report do I have to run? I have to run this report. Okay. Or I've automated that report at least so it sends it to me once a week. So now I got to go look at that report, look at that number. Okay. That's that number. Okay. How many quotes have I sent out? How many invoices have come in? How much revenue has been paid? I need to put let me put all that in Google Sheets. All right. Now, how many new leads have come into my CRM? All right. Let me go look into my CRM. How many leads have come in? All right. How many follow-ups have I done on the leads that have come in? How many leads have converted to clients? I got to pull all that from my CRM. All right. Well, I also have another revenue stream coming in from, let's say, Stripe. In this example, it's got Stripe. So now I've got to go look at Stripe. How many transactions have come in? How much revenue? How many refunds have I had to give? All of those things I've now got to do. That makes my head hurt just thinking about all those tasks that I now have to do back and forth. If only there was a way where I could automate that and it would do it for me and I would have a live report every week. Well, you can. And this is an exact example of that. This is what it looks like running, and that is the output that it put into Google Sheets. So think about all those tasks. So it's even showing it's getting all my contacts from my CRM. It's getting 90 days of invoices from QuickBooks. It's getting 12 months worth of new customers from QuickBooks. It's getting my last 50 Stripe transactions, and it's aggregating all of that information into one Google worksheet. And then I like pictures. And so it does charts and graphs based on the data that's live in another sheet. Now, I was going to talk about something about this, and I'll be darned if I forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, there's one thing that I want you to notice for this. There is no AI in this process at all. There is nothing in here that is going anywhere outside of my control. AI is not involved in this workflow because for a lot of people, sending information to AI is a concern. You can automate without AI. And so I wanted to make sure that I showed that you can still do this and not pull an AI LLM into your workflow and still get results, still get the things that you're looking for. Who's got an example or who's got something where they've already been writing notes down about, I need something like this, and you've already started drawing your processes out on a napkin? Don't be shy. I call on shy people. Christine.
I've got one. I've got one.
Okay.
Great. I mean, today, right now, to follow up on overdue invoices, I have to go into QuickBooks, pull a report, and send that report to an employee, and then follow up with them to get, some kind of info of what they found out. So I can envision, the napkin workflow of something like this running and pulling the report from QuickBooks every day, populating the same workbook where the employee can write a notes column, and we just keep this running workbook and it just gets updated daily and I don't have to go pull any reports. I can just go look at the workbook anytime.
Absolutely. Now, here's where you can even do more information and make those reports even more valuable. You can look at all of the history for that client. You can look at notes. You can pull in CRM notes if that exists, or any other information about that client. And then when you feed that requirement to the employee to go make the human connection with the customer, they've got an entire portfolio, an entire vision of that customer. Is this a common problem? Hey, maybe we should send the leadership staff, hey, this is a common problem where we have to go chase money for this client. Maybe leadership should start thinking about whether or not this is a good fit and we should continue working with them. Then to the employee who has to go and connect with the late payer. Hey, I see that we've got a history of late payments. We're behind on this one. Is there something that we should do about changing how we're expecting payments or something like that along with them, so that it's not just a, hey, you're late. When are you going to pay? Right? It becomes an actual conversation to try to identify trends and problems, history, what all they do, how long have they been with us, all the information that the employee needs to make a smart decision versus what feels like, hey, you owe me money, and this is just an
Yeah.
emotional conversation. Which, how many people enjoy collection calls, receiving them or making them? If we
Yeah,
can take it
great
out of the
point.
collection run and we can turn it into, hey, we're seeing a problem, how can we work with you to fix the problem? It's a completely different environment. It's a completely different culture for the client and for the company. And all that just comes from having data at your fingertips. Instead of it being dispersed across how many different platforms where we've got all this information, let's create one report or one task that has all this together.
Can I
Right,
add
that's
something?
awesome. All right. Who's that?
It's Sonia from Geotech, and only because you mentioned doing collection calls, which is part of what I do here. I mean, I think having the data in one place is great, but there's a couple of us, right, working on these collections. And I mean, if we could just cut the work in half, it would be great. But just, I have noticed that we have a process where they send out invoices, right? And then we have another individual that will um, kind of personalize an email and say, hey, this is still outstanding. But I also noticed that I come back on the back end and I actually call people. I call them and say, hey, you may have overlooked this, but we still have a balance. And this is when they respond. I've noticed that within our system, right, within our process, they do not respond, the majority. I mean, some of them do, but they don't respond until somebody calls them and says, hey, you owe this. So, I mean, I really like that, you could minimize as much as possible. You can, I think having all of the reports and all of the notes in one place would be extremely helpful. So that was just
Yeah, that's a
my
good thought. Just to add
experience.
to Sonia there, like you could theoretically either tie this back into your CRM and create a task for someone to call um, that business to follow up on an invoice, and that task just gets created and populated in their to-do list, so to speak, if you have a CRM. Or you could use that spreadsheet he's showing for that potentially. And if you wanted to integrate a AI, large language model, into the workflow, you could do it in ways where, the information you feed the AI, for example, is somewhat anonymized. Maybe it only has a first name and an invoice number, and then prompt that AI to even write out the phone script if someone is not sure what to say. They don't make a lot of those collection calls. Like Corey was saying, it's hard to do. Um, you could even give them a little script to go along with it and then have that accountability. Because when I ask my employees to make those calls, because you're right, they work better, they would rather send the email. They don't want to make the call. And it's hard to have that accountability. So something like this could really help make sure, yeah, did that call get made? Did you talk to the person? Did you have to leave a voicemail? What was the disposition of that call? All that could be in here.
Yeah, I like that where you said that you have it do everything up until the point where you call, and then you get. I mean, and you're 100% right. Like there's rarely people that want to get on the phone and say, hey, make those calls because it's not easy. And I'm actually one of the weird people that like to do that, looking just only because I see the report of where it started, right? We had all of these outstanding accounts, and now I can look at the report since I started doing this 4 months ago, and wow, like our collections are pretty much down to 60 days when before we had 120 days out. So, I mean, it's just weird for me that, or I'm a weird person just loving to look at the progress in that. But you're right, there's not a lot of people that like to do the calls, but getting the work done prior to and then just getting to that, that would save a whole lot of time, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so from a workflow and process perspective, here's an interesting idea, just because this is what I do all day long is think about this stuff. From a collections process, you can look for trends, and at 30, I mean, if people are net 30 at like day 35, send a text message out, right? You get more responses from text messages than you do emails. And then see if you can get them to engage on a text message. If they don't engage from a text message, then at about day 45, okay, maybe we try another one. And then at day 60, we're actually telling people to make telephone calls. And so by automating a lot of that, you can still have a lot of that visibility. And maybe you can reduce the number of telephone calls that are even made just by simply sending those text reminders. So yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Greg brought up the idea of bringing an LLM into helping create conversations. And so the second case study that I wanted to show was exactly that. Was an LLM controlling an entire conversation and an entire workflow. Now, there's a bonus for this one. All right. If you want to try this out yourself, that is the QR code and or the URL to go and try. And you can have a conversation with Morgan. Morgan is a demo that I created specifically for this. And I'm going to show you what Morgan looks like on the back end. So what Morgan is my customer or my director of client access. That's what we decided to call him. He, believe it or not, he chose the name. I did not. And Morgan actually has a resume inside of his instruction set. He has a history of who he is, what he's done, and what he does for me. Morgan's job is to talk to people and determine whether or not they are a good fit to be put on my calendar. If they've got a legitimate problem that I can work on, his job is to get that clarification and get them on my calendar. He creates the Zoom link. He creates the invite. He sends the invite. He texts me. He adds them to the CRM. If they don't already exist, he adds the notes to the CRM. He creates a Google Drive folder for them. All of these things that if I had a new client that I would just start to onboard just as a lead, all of the things that I would have to do. Morgan does all of that for me. So is anybody brave enough to try Morgan on their own? We got one. All right. So this is what Morgan looks like inside in 8N. This is an actual conversation that I did. And what you will see here is there's the big box in the middle says AI agent. That's actually Morgan. That is an OpenAI GPT 5.2 LLM. So if you go to ChatGPT and try to have this same conversation and you put the same prompt in there, you'll get the same kind of results, except for one minor difference. Morgan has access to all of those tools that are down at the bottom. He can see if Google folders exist. He can create Google Drive folders for me. He can search my HubSpot contacts. He can create or update contacts. He can update notes. He can send me a text message. He can send email on my behalf. He has access to my calendar. He can create an event in my calendar, and he can create an event in Zoom. And his workflow, his process, remember that whole napkin drawing, is walking through that process and having access to all of those tools. see if I've gotten any Telegram messages yet. Not yet. Okay. It's trying. All right. So anybody try it? Yes. Sonia, I believe it can attach files to emails. And the only reason I say I believe it can is I've never had to do it, but so far there's no reason why I wouldn't believe that it can. So if like in this onboarding process, if I wanted to send, here's a pre-questionnaire to fill out, then I could attach it to the email and it would send it in the email with the Zoom link and everything else. Now, I'm a UI guy, and customer experience kind of person, and so if I was sending a form, what I would probably rather do is to make it a conversation inside of Morgan, or I'd probably have Morgan hand it off to another agent and have them actually have the conversation that I need to get from the form. Because here's one of the things that I've noticed is in my head, I know what I want people to answer and what kind of questions I need them to answer. But sometimes they don't, and they don't know how to answer it. So how do I walk them down a journey of what information do I really need them to get? Well, if I have an agent whose sole purpose is to be conversational and pull the answers from the conversation versus it being an exact question looking for an exact answer, that's the process we actually teach in sales, is we teach you to have a conversation, not a checklist that you go down each one, right? You have a natural conversation in which you listen for the answers that you're looking for and answer the questions yourself. And so that's sort of the same thing that I would do in that situation as well. Anybody want to share the results? Anybody get through, Morgan?
Yeah.
Morgan let you in?
Yep.
Do you get a date?
I have 3 choices.
You have 3 choices.
Right.
Yep. And so the last question Morgan's going to do is, after you choose a date, it's going to ask you, is there anything else that you think that I should know when it books the appointment? Now, here's the little bonus. If you actually want me to call you, put in there, yes, actually call me. Otherwise, if you just want to test it out, just put test or demo or something like that in the notes, and I won't call you.
Okay. So don't call me, no offense.
Yeah, no worries.
I went, but it did send me the invite just now.
You got the invite?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Anybody else try Morgan?
So I was able to try it, although I didn't get fully through the process. I think one thing that stands out is how organic conversation is. It really, I think it goes back to your point about what information are you're really listening for when you're having those conversations. And so it's asking me what the name of the business is, and at a high level, am I a B2B, B2C, and what exactly am I selling? For me, it's the destination. So that's interesting.
Hey, Corey, is N8N expensive?
No, N8N is not expensive. So, uh, so Tom, I will get to your question. No, N8N is not expensive. There's two different ways that you can do N8N. This is for all the tech nerds out there. N8N will host itself for you, or you can do what they call self-hosting. I think I pay $7 a month for my N8N instance, and there's no way I can overload that instance. Anything that you want to connect it to, you've got to have an account for. If you've got a Google account, you've got access to Google Drive. There's ways to connect Google Drive to it. If you've got Gmail, you can connect Gmail to it. I've got Outlook. That's why on this one, the example shows do everything in Outlook. I've got a Zoom account. That's why there's a Zoom connection in there that creates the meetings. Probably nowadays, 90+% of business apps have a way for tools like N8N to connect. And it is easy to do if you already know what your process is. That's why the first step of doing it is trying to figure out what actually am I trying to automate. If you're trying to build a process while you're trying to automate it, it's like trying to fix a plane while it's flying. And that's just kind of hard to do. It's not impossible. I do it all the time, unfortunately, because clients will come up and say, well, I need to do this. Well, how do you do it today? Well, I don't. Okay, well, I guess we're going to figure that out. And so, yeah, it is not a huge investment. It'll cost you more in time, because I get hooked on this thing. Like, ooh, what can I automate today? What neat thing can I do today? Ooh, I'm going to try this. Ooh, somebody said this was a problem. And so I would sit there and create those. I actually brought them with me, 2,400 templates for tasks that people have done using N8N. N8N has been around for a while. It is not new. It is well established, and it is well used. And there are plenty of videos and classes and things to take on how to use it and how to get even better at it. Tom, to answer your question, how do we do this? How to leak things into workflow? All right, so I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. I will pull up my actual N8N as long as they tell me I have time to do so.
Yes, we have a couple of minutes, probably about 7 minutes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we will make one on the fly. All right, go back to Zoom. All right, this is what N8N looks like. If we remember the anatomy of a workflow, it's trigger, work, outcome. So think of it as input, work, output. So the first thing that it tells you to do is add your first step, which is the trigger. And right when you click on it, it says, okay, what trigger do you want to work on? Do you want to have this run manually when you come in and run it? Do you want it to happen when an external app triggers it? Do you want to run on a schedule, like maybe running your financial dashboard every week on Sundays? or your social media posting on Sundays? Or do you want to do what's called on a webhook call, which is something else is triggering something and sending it back in? You can have a form that N8N hosts. It looks like that little chat bot that looked like Morgan. And that can just live, and you can embed that in a website. You can do whatever you want with that, put it in an email. Here, answer this form. And when that form gets submitted, it comes in as an input or a trigger into N8N. You can even have on chat message. So when we were talking to Morgan, this is exactly what we were doing. We were using the trigger on chat message. So to see Morgan, there's Morgan. When chat message was received, right? There's the initial message. There's the AI agent, and here's the prompt that controls Morgan. And then all of the tools that Morgan has access to. So I've got a couple of minutes left. Tom, does that help? Or is there something more specific that you want me to show while I'm sitting here? Where's Tom's chat? I can't see his chat.
I guess the what is necessary is that what you kind of like showed, all that big string of prompts or something. That seems like that's probably above a layperson's ability to create, or at least my level, it looks like.
Well, Tom, I will tell you that I will challenge that, because 99% of these I write with AI's help. And as you start to think about, again, the things that you have, right? If in my business I know that I have Outlook, well, I'm just going to come over here and look and go, okay, well, what can I add? I need to do something in Outlook. Okay. Oh, look, there's Outlook. All right. Well, oh, look out. What do I need to do? I need to, oh, what do I need to do? Oh, there's so many things I can do. I need to send a message. Oh, okay, great. All right. Who do I send a message to? All right. Well, is it a value from some other part, or do I want it to send it to me every time? Like, oh, something came in. Send me an email. Okay, there we go. What do you want it to be about? And then what do you want it to say? Do you want it just to be, hey, somebody submitted this, or do you want all of the data that was submitted from it? Between YouTube and even ChatGPT or Manus or any of those, they will walk you through step by step what to put where and how to make these do what you want them to do.
Okay, nice.
I do have a quick question, Corey. As far as I know, we see here how simple it is to connect it to something like Outlook or even another tool like Google Workspace. What about closed CRM? Is that more difficult? Do you have to get certain APIs from your CRM provider to connect them?
So depending on the CRM, so earlier I had said that probably about 95% of apps are well aware that things like this exist, and they make APIs available, or application program interfaces. And all that is it's a predefined messaging format for one thing to talk to another. And so what all of these little boxes are is when we drag and put them on the screen, they already know that API format. So as long as it already exists in this list, you don't have to know the API. All you have to do is go Google, how do I get my API key for my credentials so that it knows what account to give me access to when I connect. And so you add those credentials. So if we look at like send message, right here, right, it already has my my Outlook account credentials saved. So all I have to do is say that's the account that I want you to send and receive with. and it's going to connect and authenticate with Microsoft. I'm already authorized on the Microsoft side, which I have to go to Google every single time. How do I get my API key for this platform? And then once I credential it once, I don't have to touch it unless I have to reconnect it. And then when I go back and reconnect it, it's just back into here, reconnect, and it re-authenticates and does everything, and I'm back to running again.
Thank you so much, Corey. No, I think this is phenomenal. This is very insightful, and considering the additional AI tools that we have to even get more in depth with this, I think it's very valuable because you're able to then ask ChatGPT, okay, this is my workflow. How exactly can I create this in N8N? Or there may be additional tools that you use to ask some of those questions too. I think this is very valuable. For the sake of time, we're going to have to wrap up soon. But again, I think these case studies are valuable. We do ask everyone that there is an open invitation for anyone who would like to share real technology challenges that they faced or even observed, some even similar to today's discussion. And there's an opportunity to address those in future sessions. Essentially, it would be in the form of a case study. I know Laura has shared the case study link in the chat for you to download that form and submit to us if you have any questions, business challenges, or any scenario that you'd like to go over in a future session. Your case does not have to be a perfect match to today's topic or even future topics, but feel free to look at upcoming session topics in iEcho homepage for inspiration. If you'd like to participate, again, just click that link in the chat, download and complete that case form, and email it back to us. And that will be at hispanochamberecho@gmail.com. And of course, please email us if you have any questions or any comments for us as well. I would also like to remind participants to provide feedback on the post-session survey. That does help us to build curriculum around the topics that are of interest to you, as well as relevant to your business challenges on a day-to-day. Laura has also provided the link in the chat for that feedback survey. So please take a few moments to complete that survey. It really does help us develop this curriculum and provide quality content going forward. I'd also like to announce that next session's topic and guest speaker will be using AI to research and create presentations by Mark Fidel of Fidel Consulting. Thank you, Mark. We look forward to your presentation. And again, sessions are held on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. So please mark your calendars for quick access to join. And there's also a link in the chat to get that iEcho homepage quickly. You'll also receive a standard reminder message 30 minutes before the start of each session, as long as you're registered, which all of you are because you're here today. Again, if there are any questions or comments, please do reach out to us. Corey, will these slides be available to post?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So our slides will be posted on our iEcho homepage for this particular session. If you would like to go back and look at that, I think there was value in looking at the slide that talks about the trigger, the workflow, and the deliverable. So if there's any questions there, please do reach out or refer to those slides as well. And that is all I have. Do you have anything to add, Laura?
Yeah, thank you, Dominic. I would just like to add that if you would like to see the recorded session, any of our past sessions, you can go to our YouTube channel under the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce, and you will find our past sessions there.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Hey,
We
guys,
look
real
forward
quick.
to seeing you. Yes.
Could we let Daryl give a little plug real quick?
Oh, of course. Yes. Please do, Daryl.
I was just dropping in. Laura had contacted me when the chamber was setting up this Echo, and I just wanted to see you guys are doing very well, and use this opportunity to just plug my own public safety Echo for businesses or residents that are having any public safety issues. I do them for the Nob Hill and University area as well as downtown, but I'm looking to expand. Elliot dropped in some links to register. Just if you have any public safety issues in your area and like to learn more and discuss them, um, feel free to reach out to me. And congratulations, great work on. This was a very interesting topic, and I'll drop in for some more. Thank you.
Thank you,
We're
Daryl.
so happy you could join us, Daryl, and everyone. Daryl's Echo sessions are invaluable, especially to business owners. So we encourage you to check it out and visit with one of his sessions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Laura.
so much, Daryl. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. We look forward to seeing you on the 17th.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Have a
Thank you.
great day.